for tuning in with us to this 12th episode of S.A.L.T, Sharing and Learning Together, a combined class project of Master of Divinity second year and Master of Arts in Clinical Counseling first year of Oriental Theological Seminary. With the participants are all students, and this video is part of our learning journey under the course An Introduction to Pastoral Care and Counselling. Hence, please treat this video for purely educational and awareness purposes. Well, in this episode, we will be talking about physical illness. None of us want to be sick. We all have too much to do, especially in today's world, to be falling sick. Sickness becomes just another big hindrance in our busy schedule. And as far as possible, we all try to avoid it. But sometimes it becomes unavoidable and we all sometimes fall sick. I think the time that we are living in, people have never been more conscious of their health. And at the same time, ironically, there are many healthy people out there who takes their health for granted. Our body is a greatest asset, and we really need to be taking good care of it. Physical illness does not just simply affect the individual, but it has got a serious ripple effect. In today's episode, we will explore physical illness in all its dimensions, causes, effects, and also some healthy ways to deal with physical illness. So joining me for this very important discussion on physical illness, I have with me Ms. Ruth Taimai, doing her second year in Master of Divinity, Ms. Leah Konyak, doing her Master of Divinity second year, and Mr. T. Lakum Yim, doing his Master of Arts in Clinical Counseling first year. Well, let's begin our discussion. To begin with, as I stated earlier, sometimes we may be taking really good care of ourselves, but sicknesses just happens, So, but it is always helpful to know some of the factors that causes sicknesses. Could be external, could be emotional, could be something that we cannot help. As we have seen just a few years ago about the coronavirus pandemic. So, having said that, can you please enlighten the viewers on some of the underlying common causes of physical illness?
Physical illness is not a cause of one cause, but so 5 causes of physical illness are, the first one is environmental cause. So it includes the exposure of germs, infection, and harmful substance from plant and animal and pollution, and this can enter our bodies and it can create illness. And second one is genetic factor. So some illness pass from parents to the children through the genes, such as virus, which inherit from generation to generation. And the third one is lifestyle. Our lifestyle play a big role in how healthy we are. So the choice that we make in daily life, like smoking, drinking alcohol, chewing tobaccos, and eating unhealthy food, will affect our health. And it will also weaken our immune system, leading to a disease like kidney problem, heart problem, liver problem, and even to a cancer. And the fourth one is psychological issue. So too much stress causes depression, and it will also create other mental health problems. So if our mind is not at peace, then it will affect our body, like leading to a high blood pressure, fatigues, and it will also create other illness. And lastly, many people ignore a very simple and common way to prevent sickness. That is, they don't want to visit a medical center when they first notice the symptom. So taking care of all this area and seeking the medical health will lead us to stay healthy, as well as will lead us to a better life.
Thank you, Ms. Ruth, for clearly highlighting for us the common underlying causes of physical illness. The points that you have highlighted, especially the life choices and also the psychological factors like stress. I think illnesses caused by such factors are easily preventable, and the reminder will go a long way in helping the listeners back at home as well to be really careful of the life choices and to be really watchful of the emotional and mental health as well. So thank you so much once again. So understanding those causes, like I've said, can really help us to be vigilant. But we know for sure that sickness is not a modern day problem. And of course, with the advancement in medical sciences, Thankfully, most of the diseases that would have been fatal even just maybe 10 years ago, we are successfully being able to deal with those. So having said that, sickness and illnesses are as old as human history. Considering that it has always been around, what are some of the cultural or religious perceptions towards physical illness?
Well, when we talk about physical illness, different cultural and religious have different perspective. Some of the people believe that physical illness is a taste of faith or spiritual, or maybe like an opportunity for their spiritual growth. Well, others see as a punishment or consequences of their past wrongdoing. And in some culture, like physical illness, especially mental or chronic illnesses, often carried stigma. For instances like leprosy, HIV/AIDS has been viewed as a shameful or contagious in some society. And when we talk about disability or genetic conditions, some people believe that it's a curse, generation curse, or like maybe because of their family shame. And in terms of like some traditional context, and likewise people have different belief and understanding on physical illness. However, we can clearly see that in the New Testament, Jesus rejected the notions in John chapter 9 verse 2 and 3 by emphasizing that suffering is not always the cause of sin, but can be an opportunity for God's works to be displayed. So not all physical illness and suffering is because of our sin or anyone else's sin, but it is a way of living in a broken world. Like as Jesus said in John chapter 16 verse 33, in this world you will have trouble, but ultimately our struggle can our struggle can glorify His name.
Thank you so much, Ms. Leah, for giving us the cultural or some traditional perception or understanding of sickness. I think most of the time those beliefs, irrational beliefs especially, hinders us from seeking medical help, as some of you have already stated, and that can prove to be really dangerous. So thank you so much for that. When we talk about the Bible, well, I think this is a very huge topic, Bible and sickness and pain and suffering. This is one of the reasons why we find many people turning away from God. I was in pain, I was suffering from sickness, and God did not heal me. All these things can be very traumatizing and can really put people away from trusting God. So what is the healthy, or for that matter, what is the biblical perspective of physical illness?
Sickness is often mentioned in the Bible, and even the Bible clearly says that sickness is a part of life and it is a part of living. So Jesus healed many people, including blind, deaf, lepers, and crippled, and He demonstrated His compassion and mercy. So His healing require faith and prayer. So this miracle do not only heal the physical body, but it also strengthened the faith of the people, as well as it brought spiritual healings to the people. And He also shows that taking care of the children is serving Him. And He encouraged us to respond with love, prayer, understand, and to carry each other burden. So sickness is not a sin of the person or parents or ancestor, or it is not because of the lack of the faith also, but God's want to reveal His glory, or He wants to glorify His name. That's why God gave sickness to the people. And God allowed sickness to the people not as a punishment, but He wants to let us know that life is fragile, and He wants to teach us how to be patient, and He wants to help us to grow, to show a compassion for others, and to draw more closer to Him.
I think adding to what our friend have shared, when we look in the Bible, both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. It talks so much about the stories and personal experiences of people, of people to understand so much about his suffering and illness. So the story of Job can be one classic example where people use the personal experiences of Job to navigate or to understand the mystery of why we suffer and how God is present in our hardship or in our struggle. And even today, I should say, many people who are going through suffering, like Job, many people who are going suffering, they bring out a question like, why me? Or what did I do to deserve such kind of illnesses? And how, God is letting us suffer. So in such kind of questions, they ask themselves. And so through the story of Job, it tells us about how, God does not really abandon his people. However, he is present with them in the struggle. He is alongside with them. That's what we understand from the life of Job. In fact, actually, when people are able to maintain their faith in their times of suffering, they experience a sense of blessing from God, sometimes in their life or maybe in the life to come. So basically what we are seeing here is we can understand so much from Job because it has so much to say about hope, strength, peace, comfort, and promises of God. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I think that's really helpful for us. Without having a sound biblical understanding of such issues, I think our faith is not really stable. Whenever we face circumstances such as sicknesses and illnesses, like I've said earlier, we can easily be driven away from God, whom we all presume to be all loving and all good. And thank you so much for clarifying that that this world is not a permanent home that we're just passing through, and sickness is one beautiful reminder of how fragile and temporary our body and our stay here on earth is. So I think the points that you have given us will really help each one of us to formulate a very clear understanding of physical illnesses and whenever we go through as such. So thank you so much for that. Well, we have talked about our cultural perceptions, we have talked about biblical understanding, and also some of the causes of physical sicknesses. So bringing the discussion closer at home, Nagaland, we know, is a very beautiful state, blessed with very rugged natural beauty, but one of the problem is also connectivity. We suffer and we struggle from connectivity issues, and most of the people, especially in rural areas, are not able to access medical attention even when the situation is urgent. So having said that, what are some of the physical illnesses that is unique to our state and its causes, and also some of the suggestions that can help in preventing it?
Well, first of all, I'm not medical professional as such, but I'll be sharing based on what I've learned and observed the health situation in Nagaland. And yes, thank you for the question. Well, when we see in Nagaland, we see two most prevalent diseases. One is communicable disease, and the other is non-communicable disease. That is mostly related with our lifestyle illnesses. So, the first thing first is recently Nagaland Healthcare and Family Welfare, they brought out a report about the emergence of new disease in Nagaland, which is called Japanese encephalitis. So this disease is spread through mosquito bites, and it seems it mainly affects the children. What it causes is it causes swelling in the brain, which leads to high fever, seizures, and in some cases, it causes memory problem and movement problems, especially in these children. So its causes of the disease is mainly from mosquitoes breeding in stagnant water and battlefields. So here prevention simply is to take vaccination, to use mosquito nets discreetly, and keep our surroundings clean. That's basically it is. And what we observe also in Nagaland is about um, lifestyle illnesses such as high blood pressure, diabetes, gastritis, right? All things are, caused by our poor eating habits, and it also is caused because of our lack of exercise, sleep, stress, and overconsumption of junk food. And so we can prevent all these things by exercising well. Actually, it is also encouraged for us to eat organic food or local vegetables in that sense. And so exercise, sleep well, right, and yeah, keep a very good hygiene. See, another, very prevalent health concern in Nagaland is again cancer. We know that our Nagaland is also one of the most high rate user of tobacco, right? And so in India especially, and so this tobacco use is directly linked with mouth cancer, throat, and also stomach. And in a way, I find that as people, our Naga people, they have this tendency, to delay our visitation to hospital until the illnesses at once. So which makes it more harder for treatment. And even if there was possible, there's a low possibility, after we go visit the hospital late. And so what we can do here is we can go for regular checkups, even when there are little complications in our body. It is our tendency to depend on paracetamol, such things, right? And so I think with little complications also, I think we should go for a checkup, and we should stop using tobacco. I think that makes sense for us to prevent such illnesses. Then there is again communicable disease such as malaria, typhoid, diarrhea, and TB. So most of these are caused because of unclean water, poor sanitation, and just not being able to keep the environment clean. So all this can be avoided if you drink clean water, maintaining good hygiene, and keeping just environment clean. To sum it all up, I think all these things or illnesses in Nagaland can be prevented if we keep our surroundings clean, maintain good hygiene by balancing diet, exercise, and making use of medical facilities, right? Not going or not visiting hospitals late. So my simple point here is, although of course we cannot prevent all of these illnesses, but as an ordinary people, I think we can do our best, right? I think we can do our best in trying to maintain a good environment to keep our family and community healthier and safer. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Lakum. I think the message is loud and clear. Keep the environmental clean and maintain a healthy lifestyle. The things that you have highlighted are very genuine, and also, like you have said, we are not medical professionals, but I think we don't necessarily need medical science expertise to tell us that we have to keep our surroundings clean in order not to let mosquitoes breed that can cause malaria, typhoids, or for that matter Japanese encephalitis, and also maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I think that's purely a personal decision and personal choice, and also how much you value yourself. So thank you so much for highlighting those points, and I think that's gonna help each one of us really in overcoming physical illnesses, especially those that are preventable. We have talked so much about physical illnesses this session. And we have also agreed that none of us are medical professionals to give medical advices to people. But there are so many ways that we can help one another as a community of faith, as family members, as friends. So what are some of the practical ways, or helpful steps that we can apply in order to prevent illness from getting worse, or maybe set some certain individuals on the direction of healing and wholeness?
Well, first, I think we should understand that these people who go through physical illness, the challenges is not only physical, but it goes beyond. It affects both mind, emotions, and even the relationships, right? And so, to give care for them is to look at the whole person, right? And so, what we can do here basically is our presence. It matters a lot, our presence, right? Those who go through illnesses, often they feel isolated, often they feel alone or neglected. So our presence matters a lot, even just by giving a call or sending them a short messages to encourage them. It gives them comfort and peace, and also value. So it's not so much about giving so much meaningful words to encourage them, but rather just being there itself gives them so much comfort. Yes, and we can also talk about trust. You see, this individual facing such struggle, they are filled, or in a sense, gripped with emotions like anxiety and fear about their future, or about the sickness, treatment, or about death. And so they often feel anger, hopelessness, and is filled with helplessness, right? And so what we can do here is just creating for them a space where they are able to express all these thoughts, all these emotions without being judged. And so it is very crucial for us to be present and listening passionately to their thoughts, and also assuring them confidentiality, and so that they will feel free, and there is trust to able to express all of their problems, right? We can also give encouragement, because it is those times they lost their roles in families also, and they feel worthless, right? They feel worthless, not being able to do anything. So we can give a word of hope. Prayer is very significant here, all right? Prayer, and also give them encouragement from the Word of God, so that all these things makes them feel valued and their word is still there. See, it is very important actually for us to able to help them make sense of their experience, because we know that physical illness deprives their daily activities, their normal functioning. And so it is during those times they feel very vulnerable, as they lost their identity because they feel worthless. And so we should help them to open up, to make them make sense that their dignity, their identity is not based on the sickness, or it's not based on the illness, but rather in terms of such struggles, it still remains the dignity, the identity. So basically, giving them support does not mean just one visit. So it is caring for them is a means of journeying with them through their struggles, through their pains, maybe their treatment or recovery journey in this case. So I think when we look back, in the end of the day, you can really heal, or prevent all these illnesses, but we can give just as important, like love, peace, hope, and strength. Sometimes, greatest healing happens when people realize that they're not going through their struggles alone. Yes, that's what I want to share.
Thank you, Lakom. I think that's very beautifully stated. And I would like to record what you just said, that the greatest healing happens when we realize that we're not going through this alone. So I think what you have highlighted, the cares and the practical ways that we can help people is very meaningful and very helpful. We don't necessarily have to be a medical doctor in order to give care to someone. So thank you so much for that. And for those listening at home, I think if you're taking care of someone who is going through physical illness, could be your siblings, could be your parents, could be even your neighbors, I think remembering those measures, especially like being present, just sending some well-meaningful text or praying for them, I think goes a long way in helping them. So I think it will be helpful for all of us if we can remember those steps. Well, coming back to our discussion, we know, even though we are all healthy here by God's grace, we know that there are people out there who are not keeping well, who are struggling with illness, and also there are people who are recovering. So what is that one word of encouragement that you would like to convey to them?
Well, if you are one of those who is struggling with illnesses or sickness, I just want to encourage you all that, like, I know it's not easy. I know, like, the sicknesses feels heavy and the night can be long. However, God is always with you, and I just want to let you know that you are loved and you are valued, and also, like, God is always near you, and then He will go through, like, beside you. So be strong and then have faith in Him.
I just want to encourage that don't lose hope. God used our weakness to show His strength and to bless others, and God have a bigger plan for you, and He is preparing a powerful testimony to empower for those in need for His glory.
I also want to add something to the people who are going through a lot right now. I just want you to know that your physical illness or your weaknesses in your body doesn't define who you are, and it is okay to lean in, to depend on others, to ask for help, and that itself is a step to recovery. And as our friends have shared, you are valued, you are cared. So please don't hold back, but share your thoughts, share your emotions to your close ones. Thank you.
With those words of encouragement, we come to the end of today's discussion. Let us remember that good health is truly a blessing and must not be taken for granted. Let us continue to support one another, break the stigma surrounding sickness, and promote healthy habits in our homes and in our communities. Once again, this is the 12th episode of S.A.L.T. I'm Mihima Apon, talking about physical illness. Until the next time, stay strong, stay fit, and stay healthy. Thank you.